Thurles and the foundations of the GAA.
Far across yonder blue lies a true fairyland, with the sea rippling over the shingle and sand, where the gay honeysuckle is luring the bee, and the green glens of Antrim are calling to me.
We're here in the most northern stronghold of hurling in the country. This is one of the 9 glens of Antrim, an area of magnificent scenic beauty, but also noted for its remarkable love of hurling. And it's here that clubs like Cushendall, Ballycastle and Lougheil maintain a great tradition, and they ensure that hurling's the only sport of any consequence in this area. And that tradition is proudly upheld by families like the Donnellys of Ballycastle and the McNaughtons of Cushendall. The clock above the diamond looks down on this placid town of Ballycastle, where annually they hold the All Lammas Fair. But for now, the attention of the locals is concentrated on Antrim's hurling semi-final at Croke Park, especially among experts with the come-on, like the Donnelly family, whose connection with the sport goes back to the establishment of the McQuillan's Club. And so started a family dynasty, the latest generation of which gathered here before some of them headed for training.
There's a pocket in the glens of Antrim that plays hurling, and the hurling tradition is very strong and has been over the years. It's centred around families mainly in various clubs.
Yeah,
there's ourselves here, and there's various other families.
Yeah.
In
Who would they
be? Taking the Ballycastle, our own club, there's ourselves, there was the Elliots, the Harkins in years gone past. Now we have the Boyles, they have come to the fore in recent years. Other clubs, you come to Cushendall, the McNaughtons, there's the McGarrys in Lougheil, there's the Elliots in Dunloy. And you could go on, and it's really centred around a strong family tradition.
My earliest memories are from living in the Diamond here in Ballycastle, which was the focal point for the team when they'd be setting off to play away games. And more often than not, I'm sure Eddie and myself sneaked away on the bus with the players when we weren't supposed to. And we never thought about the consequences until we had got home again.
Eddie, there is this strong tradition of hurling in the glens. Why do you think this is so? Because you're so far away from the strongholds of hurling in the south. Could the proximity to Scotland and Shinty have anything to do with it?
It might have something to do with it. And as you're aware, I've played Shinty for Ireland against Scotland, which was a unique experience. And funny, there was an under-21 match there just in the past week. They're trying to revive it. It could be going back to something like that, but really, there's this strong hurling tradition. Football doesn't get a look in here around this area at all, and that's the way I'd like to see it.
All our family and our cousins are all playing together, and the next generation has started into underage teams.
And Brian, I suppose when you came along then, it was only natural that you would take to hurling like everybody else.
Well, it was certainly, as Kevin says, like it's just handed down from one family to the next. Actually, my own ambition was to play in the county team along with my 3 brothers, and in 1980 the 4 of us did play.
You did achieve that.
Yeah.
Mr. Donnelly, when particularly that all the lads will be playing on the one Sunday for the club in particular, how do you feel with them away? Do you worry about injuries, for instance?
Well, I would, but I'm very proud of them too.
I'm sure you are. Would you get excited now because you have the family representation on the team?
I would get very excited, I would.
And what, will you be praying for them?
Well, for one, surely.
Do you think they have any chance?
I don't really know, I'll hope for the best.
Daisy, do you think it's prayers you'll need against Tiff?
Prayers maybe help, but I think a good solid performance by the whole team on Sunday will certainly go a long way and maybe cause an upset on Sunday.
I remember when I started at the beginning, we played the likes of Tipperary, Cork, and it was just a matter for Molly them beating us. I still know 2 years ago we played Tipperary up in Dunloy. When Tipperary beat us, they thought it was great to jumping for joy after they beat us. And to me that was some achievement for us, because Tipperary thought it was good to beat us.
Well, of course, at that time, Tipperary were in Division 2, and they were it was a step up back to Division 1, where you now are going to start meeting all the top counties.
And it's probably right. Like, now that we're at the top in our Division 1, we have to prove now that we are good enough to stay there. Like, going up and sit back down again is not going to do us any good.
Most of the people don't give us, I hope, come within even 10 points on, but the players have a different attitude, and that's what counts in the day.
But what about your own supporters now, the people you're meeting every day here in Cushendall, the Ballycastle people and that? Do they have any real faith in you?
Not a beaten Tipperary, you know.
Like, it's not going to be one-sided a lot of people think it is. And if we produce the form on the day, we can match it with anybody.
Does it upset you that the rest of the country still regard you as a flash in the pan? People are still expecting you to be hammered on
Yeah,
Sunday.
obviously the last 2 years now we have put it up to both Kilkenny and Cork, but it annoys us a wee bit that they still don't respect us all that much, and Sunday it doesn't seem to be any difference.
But you do?
Well, I think on Sunday now we're the difference.
Tipperary oughtn't to be caught off guard by their opponents, because Antrim have to some extent lost the element of surprise after causing Cork such a fright in the '86 semi-final and giving Kilkenny a shock last year. In fact, a year ago in Dundalk, Antrim showed what excellent players they were, with good scores, and although the rank outsiders, they were level after 25 minutes of the second half. One of the reasons for the recent improvement in their performances has been their utter commitment and devotion to the game of hurling, but also their willingness to use every means to better their skills, even in the unusual surroundings of the local beach, from where on a clear day can be seen Scotland and the Mull of Kintyre less than 20 miles away across the waves. This not only provides a variation from the training fields, but it helps build up their strength and their stamina for the big game. And it can also be very enjoyable despite the hazards here of the incoming tide.
We are isolated, and I've always said over the years that our geographical position is the biggest problem we have. To play top-class opposition away from home, it means a weekend and all the attendant expenses that are with it. So I feel that it's more to the credit of the players in this county that we have, and down as well, and Derry are coming to the fore, and Armagh as well, that they have kept that tradition going, because it could so easily have died and you'd have no hurling.
Look, you'll have gone through in club level and won an All-Ireland, and there's nothing to prevent them. And our own club got to an All-Ireland club final. I think there's no reason at all, if we can hold ourselves to the big teams in Division 1, that we can get into an All-Ireland final and maybe win it.
I'm very proud of the four of them going down to play for Antrim, and they've got great satisfaction over the years, and I'm very proud of the two of them that are left to go and play for Antrim on Sunday.
Not too far away along the scenic coast route is the town of Cushendall, nestling around the Curfew Tower. This area is represented by the MacNaughtons, yet another of the renowned families who've contributed so significantly over several generations to that great tradition which keeps the sport of hurling so vibrant in the glens of Antrim. They've got a long-established connection with the Cushendall club, the current Antrim County champions. And on our visit here, we met James, the captain, and Danny, who were setting out for the training, which has been going on intensely among the Antrim squad now for more than 4 weeks. And this included more than a few practice matches against outside opposition. The training centre is St Macnissy's College here, a boarding school at Garrantower, where the entire squad in the saffron and white kit they'll be wearing in Croke Park tomorrow are under the care of coach Eamon Hamill and their manager Jim Nelson. Both of these former Antrim players themselves. Two men who put a lot of work into the preparation of this team and also in the promotion of hurling in Antrim. Jim Nelson recognises that the team isn't given much hope by outsiders.
We are the underdogs and no one does give us a chance, but we have a quiet confidence in our own ability, and that's what we're working on. And we have players who would grace any county team, and with that strength and the quality of our stick work, we're happy to be underdogs and still quietly do a job. Over the past couple of years we have worked a tremendous amount on underage development. And a lot of these players are the result of quite a lot of background work being done over the past couple of years. We feel that this particular team now has something that other Antrim teams didn't have. And I think that this is probably one of the best Antrim teams to come out of Antrim.
What is that factor that they have?
Well, we have a very high level of hurling skill. We have a commitment that is second to none. And on top of that there, we have a physical presence that I think other Antrim teams did not have.
It's been fairly intense as past 4 weeks. Been training very, very hard. But mainly there's a lot of work being done with the ball, which has been lacking in other years. Like I say, like there's more skillful now because they're training with the ball.
And of course that's important when you don't have the match practice.
It's very, very important when we don't have the match practice that Tip has.
We're talking about puck-outs now. It's going to be long-out puck-outs. So it's important that you hold your position and hold your position onto the dropping ball.
Probably in years past there, we were quite content running the likes of Tip, Cork to maybe 6-7 points. That's all behind us now. Tipperary wants to win on All-Ireland. We want to win on All-Ireland. Tipperary's favourites, but they're not winning All-Ireland to beat Antrim.
The city atmosphere of Belfast is very different from the tranquility of the Glens. Nevertheless, hurling is still strong, and even though they haven't got quite the same tradition of great family dynasties of the Glens, the promotion of hurling is going ahead with great fervour, and the county players, well known in their localities, are used to help out, and indeed are glad to put something back into the sport so that it will continue to flourish among the youngsters at the St. Paul's Club and at O'Donovan Rossa here.
Set it back down again. Right, now you will change it a little bit. As you go through the ball, sprint through the ball. All the way through it. Pick it up, then take a couple of steps past the ball. Set it back down again and go back to the top. That's it, through the ball.
Right through the summer months, the city clubs organise the young boys and girls of their localities and bring them in every day for coaching by the senior players who are happy to be involved when they're available, like the centre half forward, Kieran Barr.
We have a lot of other interests, plus the sort of the social factor where the kids are going to be on the street a lot of the time and there's a lot of trouble around, say, especially during the summer, where the tendency now would be to sort of throw stones rather than to come and play hurling, you know.
So how do you attract them in here then? I mean, there are quite a few kids in here today.
Well, they're here every day. Now, it's not just because the cameras are here. They're here every day. Well, there's 8 weeks this summer when they're off school and they come here. St. Paul's Club and ourselves started a scheme and we take the kids and it hopefully keeps them off the street during the day. Coach them hurling, football as well. Various other sports, we take them camping, take them swimming, play a bit of soccer with them as well. And generally keep them off the streets, try to give them another interest besides maybe just roaming around the streets looking for some trouble. I would hope that most players, if they got the opportunity, me being at university, have some free time during the summer, can give something back to the game. But it's evident in Jim Nelson and Eamon Hamill. They played at the top level and now they're giving something back to the game as well. So.
Antrim's greatest dual star, Kevin Armstrong, reminisced about the only time Antrim got to the final.
Just to play in an All-Ireland final is great. I came out of the blue. We played Galway first in the preliminary and surprised to beat Galway, and as I say, Kilkenny was the next obviously. But we run on against a good Cork team. That was the great Cork team 4 in a row.
But that was a huge surprise when you beat Kilkenny up here.
It was a very big surprise. In our day, hurling was very strong in the city here. We could always beat any of the North Antrim teams. It's reversed now.
Yeah, it's very much the reverse now. I mean, the
hurling's very strong up in the Glens at the minute. The Northmen in our day weren't as good as they are today. They're far better today than the Glens men. Stronger.
But their attitude is that they're not going down just to put up a good show in Croke Park.
Oh no, they're going down to win. As you know, like a good friend of mine, Christy Ring, says, no matter what game you go out to play, you always go out to win.
Well, Antrim then looking forward to their All-Ireland semi-final against Tipperary tomorrow. And whatever the result of that game, let's hope the match is good for hurling in Antrim. Well, the outcome of the second